Hello and welcome. Chris from Missouri here, bringing you another video about vintage baseball cards. Now, this video, it's overdue. I should have done this video a month ago or 3 weeks ago or something, but it's tough for me every once in a while to do video responses because I like them when people ask you to do something because it gives you another topic to talk about. But sometimes it puts a little bit of pressure on you as well as a YouTube content creator to make sure you do it justice. And I'm actually this is going to be a little bit a longer video for me today, maybe 15 minutes or so, because I'm going to do video responses for 3 different channels and maybe give a shout out to a few as well. And sometimes when these video responses come, these channels are celebrating that they're growing and getting bigger. And it always, for me, it seems like when there's one video response, there's like 4 or 5 of them. And they're your friends and that kind of stuff. And so you wanted to get a video out there and let them know that you're supporting what they do. And there's 3 videos that I'm going to do, and I already did one video for Theo, Clemente collector, and that was fun. You can turn over to Baseball Collectors channel and watch that if you want to. It's a special on our Showcase Showdown. But I'm going to do a video response here, 3 other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. First of all, everybody's best friend Scott asked us to do a video of favorite uniforms. And when I sit there and think about my favorite baseball uniforms that people that teams wore back in the day, anytime, and I'm kind of plays devil advocate in my mind sometimes because I go after uniforms first that I particularly didn't care for. And we've had some doozies in the past, and if you guys are anybody's close to as old as me, they can remember back when the Chicago White Sox wore their shorts there late in the year, and they had that just plain Jane white jersey with black shorts and stuff, and I never did care for even their jerseys that year because their shirt hung outside their pants. And I just think of teams that would just drive their owners crazy and their teams crazy. For instance, New York Yankees. I'm not a big fan of their uniforms, but there must have been something in the day when they put numbers on their uniforms and had the pinstripes. And then I think about the Cincinnati Reds, how drab those were, even though I was a huge Reds fan and I would have loved to have put on a Reds uniform back in the day. I just think about how boring they were. Good thing they were a good team, because it made me look past that. But when I think about favorite uniforms, I think about how the first time I walked into the Royal Stadium and saw the uniforms with the background of that, of their AstroTurf and just their scoreboard and their fountains, and I just loved their just plain Jane white uniforms. I even like them more than their baby blues or their uniforms that they had. But that right there, I know that uniforms turn around backwards, but if I was going to send in one of my favorite uniforms through my eyes as a kid, that Royals uniform would be it. And I just love it. So I don't actually know what Scott's celebrating. I think 1,500 subscribers, and he deserves a lot more than that. But everybody knows Scott's channel. But just congratulations, Scott, on whatever amount of subs you're going to get, and I'm so glad you're doing videos. Now the second one, I like the second one, and I get to show you some cards here. And it's Dan at Old Sarge Collects, and I just I love listening to him and love listening to him do videos and talk about vintage cards and stuff, and just great channel. And heck, I think he's celebrating 400 subscribers, but it's been so long since I did this. I think he's up to 500 now or close to it. But if you haven't watched his channel, go over there and watch Old Sarge Collection. It's really good. And what he wanted us to do is he wanted us to show 4 cards with the grade of 4 on those cards, and then shout out 4 channels. So I'm going to turn this around and show you 4 cards of just a set that I have. I have the complete set, and I haven't showed it very much and haven't given it much justice, but this gives me a chance to. So here's for Old Sarge Collects. So first of all, this is a George Kell 1954 Red Heart. And look at that card. And it's in a grade of 4. Golly, my picture's a little bit blurry, but understand that's a beautiful card. Here is a Duke Snyder in a number 4 grade. Love that card. Here is an Enos Slaughter in the blue background. And that is a 4. There's 3 Hall of Famers right there. And now the 4th, Minnie Minoso in a 1954 Red Heart, PSA 4. So that was fun getting those cards out, but he also wanted us to give out 4 shout-outs, channel shout-outs. And I'm going to break the rules again because I'm going to give out 5. And the first one I'm going to give out a shout-out to is I'm glad he's back doing videos. And he just took a hiatus with some family issues and different things like that. But it's Eddie's Cardboard Chaos. And Eddie's such a good person in the hobby, and he's a great storyteller. And if you get a chance, just go over and watch his channel. And I wish Eddie well, so I wanted to give him a shout out. And so I want to give out 4 shout outs as well. One I want to give out to Necro Fan, and if I get this wrong, I apologize, but I met him in Strongsville, and he and I had a pretty good time with a group of guys, and he just started doing YouTube videos, and just give him support and go over there and watch his channel. And the other one that I met in Strongsville also that I want to give a shout out to, and is Peacemaker Cards, and I think he's enjoying what he's doing now, and this is pretty important to him. So go over there, please, and give those 2 guys shout outs, and they're very new. They are very new, and anyway, that's 2 of the new ones I want to give shout outs to. Now 2 of the guys that aren't so new, well, one's fairly new, but one's not. And I want to give him a shout out, and I probably enjoy his channel more than I like any channel. And when he does collaborations, whether it's on Bench Clear Media with Danny Black, or he did a collaboration recently with Mike Baseball Collector, and that is John Keating, That 70s Card Show. And I'm going to tell you, I had a chance to talk to John, and I didn't take it very long. I said hello to him at Strongsville, but I don't know. I enjoy his channel, listening to him, the way he's like a radio talk show host, and he's super good at it. And he's a good communicator. He has fun with his words. I think he puts a lot of thought into something before he says it out loud. And that's my 3rd shout out that I want to give. Now my 4th and final shout out, I chose this guy because when I went to Strongsville, I went with 2 friends of mine, Brent and Tom, who are not YouTubers, but they watch YouTube. And they had, on the way home, if I would have posed the question to them, who was their favorite YouTuber that they talked to and they had fun with, and just was a super nice guy, and I kind of agree with him, and it's Rocket Rick. And now a lot of you guys, Rocket Rick's channel's growing, but it's not near as big as it should be. He's such a good collector and such a good guy, and I just really appreciate how he befriended some of my friends, and that they appreciate him. So that's my 4 shout outs. uh, with an extra one for Eddie. But go over and watch Old Sarge Collects, and you'll be glad you did. Now the last thing is John Wade Boggs fan. Now I room with John at the National, and what I don't know exactly what he's celebrating either, but I'm sure it's a lot of subs. But he basically asked us, and it was primarily for YouTubers, how being on YouTube has changed their collecting, and how maybe even how it's changed me. And I'm going to tell you, it hasn't just changed my collecting; it's changed my life. Seriously, that's putting a big old bowl of cereal in this thing, but it's changed me, because some of my best friends that I talk to on a daily basis are YouTube collectors, and they're far away from where I am. Now I still have great friends that that I get to see every day, and great high school friends that I stay in contact with. But this YouTube, I said it before, it brings this world a little bit closer, and it is fun for me. It's making life fun. But how it's changed my collection is this. I I do this fun video. I call it the best, my favorite hour on YouTube. I do Showcase Showdown on Mike Baseball Collector's channel. And on previous videos, I would tell you I wouldn't care about the grade, and I seriously don't when it comes to cards. And this might be the negative way it's changed me. But if I get a chance to pick up a nicer card now, if it's somebody I think we're going to do a player run, I'm going to do that. So let me show you why. Let me show you what this is. So we do this Showcase Showdown, and through my collecting, I had cards like this. And this is Joe Morgan, and it's on the wheel to do a Joe Morgan run, and that's me in competition with Mike Baseball Collector. And I had a chance, to pick up this card for almost next to nothing, and it's in a higher grade. So I went ahead and picked it up, even though I had one. Like I say, it didn't cost me much money, but I picked it up. Now I did that because the way we play on this is whoever has the card gets 5 points if it's, no matter what. And then you get additional points for the grade. So I probably wouldn't have picked up that other Joe Morgan. I know I wouldn't have picked it up if we had already done the run before, or it wasn't part of the run, and the lower grade matters none to me. But now, since we're doing that little friendly competition, if I see a card and run into it at a show and I can get it for next to nothing, I'll go ahead and get a little higher grade and then figure out what I'm going to do with the card that I originally had in my collection. Now, the other way that it's changed my collecting is with guys like Rick Oddball Cards and Dave Blue Jacket 66 and John Mangini. Just say a few. My collecting was, to some it would be boring, but that's kind of, I loved it because I didn't go after different kind of cards. I went after Hall of Famers and mainly Topps and Bowman sets and that kind of stuff. And I stopped, the way I figured, I stopped basically at 1980, what I consider vintage cards. Now, yes, I have some 80s and 90s cards and even some present day. But my true collection, if somebody would ask me, is I'm a vintage card collector. But plain Jane vintage. Like, there was no need for me to go after any different kind of Mickey Mantle cards as long as I had each of his base cards. But now being on YouTube and watching those guys, they have made it to where, I want to collect different things. And one of the things that kind of pushed me toward are these kind of cards. So give me a second here. And watching these guys describe and with their knowledge of these kind of cards gives me a chance to, gave me an idea to follow them. And I just really love them, like the W551 cards. Gave me a chance to get, other than the T206s, but here's a Ty Cobb. and it's a beautiful Ty Cobb with a punch hole in his chest. But I would have never gone after some of those cards if I hadn't heard these other collectors go after them or have them in their set. And here's another Ty Cobb. I call them strip cards, but they're hand cut cards. Here's a Tris Speaker. I love Tris Speaker, and but I didn't know he had this kind of card. Here's another Tris Speaker. I love the Hall of Famers, and I'm going to show you the last one. I'm going to show you one more after this. But here's the Babe Ruth. I'm glad I have that in my collection. And last but not least, the Ty Cobb. Now, would I have picked these up without these guys? Maybe. But again, I now can carry on a conversation with John or Dave or Rick or whoever. And I don't know, it's helping my collection grow and my hobby experience grows. So that one is for John Wade Boggs fan. I love to be able to show some cards on these. All those channels that I talked about are great channels, but the most important thing for me on YouTube is probably not the other YouTubers that I've become friends with. It's you guys that are watching, that comment and or text me or that kind of stuff, that treat me as a friend, and that come up to me at shows and say, hey, keep doing what you're doing, or hey, I collect like you, or even, hey, sorry about you losing all the time to Baseball Collector and Showcase Showdown. But this is fun, and I'm having a great time, and I appreciate you if you give those other guys a like and subscribe to their channel. And remember, guys, it is just a hobby. Collect what you like.